I am Marcus James Dixon with Gold Derby, and we are here with Penelope herself, Nicola Coughlan from Bridgerton. So, first question, do you still refer to her as Penelope Featherington, or is she now, in your mind, Penelope Bridgerton based on what happened in season three?
Yeah, she's now Penelope Bridgerton, and that's the name on the trailer. When I go in, it's quite cute, and yeah, she's very much in the family now. It's very, very sweet. Yeah, she's graduated to Bridgerton status.
I love that. And the at Gold Derby we love talking about awards, and I just have to congratulate you on your two SAG nominations
Thank you
for
so much.
for ensemble for the whole cast,
Hmm.
and then for individual as well.
Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, what went through your mind that morning when you heard that great news?
It's really funny. I did not think I had any chance in the world. I wasn't even tuned in. I knew the nominations were coming out, but I was not on my phone. I'd completely forgotten about it, if I'm being honest. I was getting ready to go out and my phone started ringing, and it was my publicist, and she sort of said, I've been trying to reach you. And I was like, we've been talking about something sort of admin based earlier in the day. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, has anyone spoken to you? And I'm an anxious person, so I immediately thought something's terribly wrong. And she said, I was trying to call your agent, and I was like, something's happened, something bad's happened. And she was like, you've been nominated for a SAG award. And I went, what? That's just not, yeah, it was not on my radar, not expecting it. Like, it was just such a lovely shock. And it was the day before my birthday. So it was a really nice birthday present to get.
Yes, talk about an amazing birthday present.
Yeah.
I was looking at your fellow nominees here in the individual
Hmm.
category. You're up there with Allison Janney, Kerry
I
Russell, Anna Sawai, and somebody named Kathy Bates. I've heard of her before, I think.
She's an up and comer, and I think, she's doing pretty well. Yeah, no, it's a crazy group. It's a crazy group to be in, and it's like I feel so honored because it's such a gorgeous thing to for your peers to say, like, we think you did well. Like that means very, very, very much to me because I love what I do, and all those people. I think, Kathy Bates in Titanic, like, I feel like that line that she says, about the knives and forks, you start from the outside and work your way in. Every time that I'm setting up for dinner, I have that in my head. And I mean, she's just such an icon, an incredible woman. Alison Janney is just so brilliant. I mean, I really love, like, Drop Dead Gorgeous is one of my favorites. She was so great in that. Yeah, so it feels silly and mad that I'm in a category with them, but I'm very grateful.
And your co-star, Jonathan Bailey, he's nominated
Yes.
for Wicked and for Bridgerton. And it makes me wonder,
Yeah.
what table do you hope he sits at the SAG Award?
I'm sure he'll be with the Wicked gang. I loved that movie, and I loved him in that movie so much. I mean, I remember there was rumors that he was cast as Fiero when he came onto set to do some in season three, and I was like just desperate to know. And he was talking about, they're singing live and they're this, and he's just so talented. I mean, there's nothing he can't really do. I think he is really adept at comedy. I mean, he was in a series in the UK called Chewing Gum, and he's so funny in that. And then he plays this, romantic lead in Bridgerton, this really serious Anthony, and then Fiero. I remember seeing the stage show and never really being bothered by that character. And then when Johnny did it, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, he's ridiculously good. I'm so thrilled for him.
Yeah. Do you remember the very first award you ever won in your entire life?
Oh gosh, yes, I do. I have since lost these skills, sadly, but in Ireland we have something called the Feshkill, which is like how would you describe it? It's sort of like a competition to celebrate the Irish arts. So it's poetry in Irish, speech making in Irish, it's Irish instruments. So I played tin whistle and the fiddle, so like violin, Irish violin, and I came first in both the fiddle and tin whistle one glorious year. And when I was home at Christmas, I actually found my two little awards from that. So that was my first award that I won.
I love it. Do you still play those?
No, I've really lost it. I can play like one song on tin whistle still, but I mean, it was terrible because I just didn't like practicing them. And
Mm.
acting sort of just usurped everything. I used to do, lots of different dance classes and whatever, but acting was always top dog. Yeah.
Well, let's talk season three of Bridgerton. It
Yeah.
starts out with the other characters are calling Penelope a spinster, a very scandalous
Hmm.
title because she can't
Yeah.
find love. What
Mhm.
would you say is her mindset at the beginning of the season? She's very down, isn't she?
She is. I think she feels very, she's sort of given up on herself and she's kind of accepted her fate and she's going, well, she's sort of very practical and she's actually not a very practical person by nature, but she's given up on the idea of love, which is something that has driven her since the beginning. And she sort of thinks, I have to get married to get out of this house. I cannot live in a house ruled by my sisters, who I just do not get on with.
Mhm.
And my mother's gonna, be henpecking me for the rest of my life. So I just need to forget love, get married, and just, find someone I can marry and then do my writing in peace. And that's what she wants at the beginning.
And then Colin comes back to town, and I think it's at the end of episode 2 when they have their first kiss,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she has always loved him, but that's the moment when he kind of wakes up and he sees her
yeah.
in a different light, right?
Absolutely. I think it was, I loved that the charting of the whole season, the way that there was, something so compelling in each episode. And it was really fun. I remember Jess Brownell, our showrunner, speaking to Luke Newton and I about, what was going to happen in each episode. We were going, oh God, that happens in two. That's great. It's so early that, for the first kiss, but it felt right and it felt really lovely that that was the moment that he sort of realized his feelings for her, that, and then, but then for her, that moment, she's not feeling that at all. She's thinking, I'll never have this again. I've had this one kiss with this man I love and it will never happen again. So she's given up, whereas he's just, yeah, lit a spark for him.
And which version of Penelope did you like playing more? The one who had a secret crush on him but didn't tell anybody, or the one where, I mean, you got your man, he loves you back, and you're living together?
I think definitely the latter. I mean, it's really interesting because when you play a character, I'm not Method and I would never be, but I think there's always something of you in it, and you always, I think to be an actor you have to be an empath to a certain degree, and you feel the feelings a little bit. So I didn't love, always at the balls, being stood on my own and all that stuff, and you start to go, God, this would be so lonely and isolating.
Mhm.
This would be terrible, and I think it was so joyful to get to play a love story and someone falling in love and
Mhm.
spending 8 months ruminating on the nature of falling in love. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's also, someone growing in confidence to go on that journey as well was just brilliant. It was so gratifying.
And the chemistry between yourself and Luke Newton is just
Mhm.
off the charts. I think a lot of
Oh,
fans want you guys to get married in real life, I think.
I know, I know. It's the worst thing when I'm like, I'm sorry that he's just my friend, but he's a very dear friend. He's just the best co-star you could ever ask for. He's so kind and he cares a lot about the work as well, which I think is, always the thing you want. There's nothing worse than being in a scene with someone who doesn't care and doesn't want to be in it. And I think we were both so dedicated to the characters. Yeah, it
Mhm.
was a big, big, big thing.
And he seems like somebody that's just perfect in everything he does. Is there is does he have an annoying quality that just drives you crazy on the set?
On set, no, oh my God, he's very, he's super easy. Like, and we traveled the world together during the press tour, and he's very easy to travel with. Does he do anything? No, maybe he's perfect.
And of course, we have to talk about Lady Whistledown, your other huge
Yes.
storyline. Penelope eventually does tell the truth to Colin.
hmm
What was it like, though, when she was keeping that inside? Was that just eating her up emotionally?
Absolutely. It's an interesting thing to have a character that's, been harboring a secret for years and thinking about, I think in season one, it was very much like she could keep herself and Whistledown very separate in her mind. But then, as the seasons go on, they go closer and closer. And in three, she really realized like they're one and the same. They're just different facets of me. And in order to be, Eloise tells her, in order for him to truly love you, he doesn't know all of you, so he can't truly love you. She knows that's true. But then I think it's a really important part of being a human being is accepting yourself for all of who you are, including the bits that maybe aren't so palatable or loved by yourself or others. It's, yeah, very important.
And the great Julie Andrews gives the voice to
Yes.
your character's words, but at the end of the season, she says goodbye, and it makes me
hmm
wonder, have we heard of the last of Julie Andrews on Bridgerton?
No, I think I feel like I can safely say that, but no, I think she's such an integral part of the show. And, watching the first episode, just hearing her voice, it just gave me chills. Like, I can't believe it's her. And no, I think, Whistledown will be there in terms of Julie for
Mm,
all time, I think, has to be.
yay. Do you have your own impression of Dearest Gentle Reader?
Oh, dearest gentle reader.
Oh, that's good. Yes. I love it. So you also had an action scene this season where you were running away from the
Yes.
hot air balloon. And
Hmm.
I wonder what was it like? Because you're in full costume, full
Oh
makeup and
yeah.
hair. It added a level of difficulty.
It certainly did. It was very funny because the scene, which was originally scripted, that she was looking at it and then Devlin sort of just pulls her out of the way and then it just got more and more dramatic as the rewrites came in. I thought, oh my gosh, this is a full stunt. And it was actually quite scary. But
Mm.
also it's funny because it was a lot of I really did enjoy the parodies of it, of people being like, she had a lot of time to get away. People being like Penelope just waiting for the balloon to hit her. But yeah, I had to run, land in a crash mat, and then Sam Phillips, who played Lord Debling, had to sort of run in and rugby tackle me to protect me. And we got attached at one point. His my wig and his jacket sort of became enmeshed. Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the show is hearing all of the pop songs of today being played
Yeah.
by the orchestras of the past. And do you have a favorite, go-to pop song that you would love to pop up in season 4 of Bridgerton?
Oh, in season 4, let me think. I mean, I was very obsessed with Chapel Roan all last year, so anything by her, I would
Hmm.
I would love that. I think that would be great for Francesca's season 2, of course. I was so excited to finally have a queer love story. Um, yeah, anything by Chapel Roan I would love.
Penelope could have her own brat summer.
I'm really had a brat summer. I went to see Charlie. That was my favorite gig of last year. She was so amazing. Yeah, I see it. Why not?
So let's talk about the dances and the choreography because
Sure.
they're all so perfect, and it makes me wonder how long is the practice, is the rehearsal that you have to make sure that the dance looks as good as it does on camera.
Well, we have the most amazing choreographer called Jack Murphy, and he has been on the show since season 1. He's a really integral part of that show. And, he just, again, like Julie Andrews' voiceover does, Jack Murphy's choreography just elevates it into its own world, its own thing. And he's sort of a magician. I remember having a dance in season 2 and feeling really nervous about it, and I felt like I couldn't do it. And see, he just tricks you. It tricks you in a lovely way. He brings you in and he goes, "We're not learning the dance now. You're just doing this step with me." And you go, "Okay." Okay, so he does the step with you. And then he's like, "And now we're just going to do it over here. We're going to do it this way, this way, this way." And then I suddenly put the music on and suddenly you go, "I'm dancing. How did he make me, and we thankfully had a lot of them to do in season 3.
Mm.
And we don't, it's, we were time poor because I was on set mostly every day. So sometimes it would mean filming 5 days a week, and then your Saturday would be your dance rehearsal. But Luke and I were quite good students. Like, we would, in between scenes, we would practice the dances, and we would, you just have to be very in it and very dedicated. But there's not a lot of time. So, but I think because we were doing it so much, we got quite good at having a shorthand, and yeah, it was
Mm.
great. It's one of my mom's favorite things in the show are the dances. Yeah.
Mm. And the in the finale, there was the epic scene where Penelope is kind of outed by the queen, and she comes out and
Mm,
just speaks to everyone and tells them the truth finally. It was very emotional for you as an
mm.
actress. What was it like,
Yeah.
practicing for that scene and finally filming it?
I mean, it was terrifying because it's such a gift as an actor to be given a brilliant piece of writing, but then you think, oh no, now I have to deliver on it and I can't mess this up. So yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking, but and it really did come very close to the end of filming. So I think emotions were running high just because I think for various reasons, from exhaustion, from knowing that I had had this amazing experience and it was about to end. So I really was already at an emotional point, and then I think to do that speech, it just encapsulated everything that the character had been through from the very beginning. So it was, yeah, it was quite surreal, and I just really loved it. And I really loved that she took control of her own narrative because in the books it's Colin who gives that speech. And I
Ah,
loved that they let Penelope speak for herself and then he stood back and watched her and then afterwards he has that gorgeous speech to her where he's saying, I'm so lucky to, be with you and to soak up your light and all this stuff. I think it's a really gorgeous thing. Yeah.
I love that. I wasn't aware that they had switched who gives the speech. I love
Yeah.
that Penelope was
Yeah.
the one that gave it.
Yeah, I think it's really nice because then you see, I think it's I think one of the most important messages from series three is, being in a relationship with someone, you need someone who's proud of you and who bolsters
Mhm.
you up, doesn't want to hold you back and, lets you shine. And that's what people should have in relationships. And I think a lot of women generally don't have that, don't have someone that's really proud to let them go and do their own thing. But in that moment, he lets her have her moment and then he goes, and I really love you and I support you and it's great. And I think,
Mhm.
people should aspire to that. I think it's really important.
Were the butterflies real or were they CGI? I can't tell.
They were CGI. They were
Oh.
CGI. Yeah. So there was a lot of, there's a moment where one lands on Penelope's hand and it's just sort of a like, you're just doing this. They're like, I can imagine it's on your finger and it's flying away. No, all CGI.
I mean, I just love that your sister called them bugs. That was just
I
so
know. It's such a cute moment. Yeah. It's such a brilliantly delivered line.
well, I know Netflix is very hush hush. Is there anything about season four you can tease, or would
Oh,
you
what do
just
you think about season
would you be
four?
fired? I don't want you to get fired.
Me neither, me neither. I think it's really fun. It feels like a totally different energy this year, which is the fun thing about the show because it changes so much depending on each couple. So there's a lot of new people in and they're really fantastic. I've got a super cute baby that is my doppelganger. When I saw the baby, I was like, that looks so like me. It's crazy. It's baby pictures of me. I was like showing his parents and we get on well. We get on well. I
I
think that
love
I
it.
think I won't get hopefully won't get fired for telling you any of that.
Yeah. Well, the SAG Awards are less than a month away. Huge
Hmm.
congratulations again. Good luck. Is
So
the whole
much.
cast gonna fly over and be there?
I don't actually know. I really hope that we get to. We're still in the midst of filming at the moment. But I mean, hopefully as many of us as can be there will be there. And we're, in contact with everyone in LA. It's just such a horrendous situation. But we want to go there and celebrate and yeah, just hopefully everything gets a bit better.
Best of luck. Thank you for chatting with us, and we
My
will see you next
pleasure.
time.